Hello, it's Maryon Stewart, and I wanted to come on to talk about your options as you pass through this transition we know as menopause. There's been a lot in the news this week about HRT, and it's the end of long day. I've got my masterclass tomorrow evening, so I was working last night with my coaching group, so I'm feeling a bit jaded. But I just wanted to come and talk to you a little bit about HRT and about the options that you have, because I know there's a lot of confusion. And you're entitled to be confused because I think everyone's confused, and that's from doctors right the way through to the public. And the thing is, there's research being published all the time, and because it conflicts, it makes us even more confused. So last week, there was some new research published to show that you're not more likely to die if you take HRT than anyone who doesn't take HRT. What they didn't tell you was that you still do stand an increased risk of breast cancer, and that risk goes up from about 20 in 1,000 in the normal public who don't take HRT up to 25 in 1,000. So it's an increased 5 women who get breast cancer. So it's obviously up to you whether you want to take the risk. There's also increased risks of clotting and stroke. Also last week, there was some research published that showed that you can get increased hearing loss when you take HRT. And so I think the general consensus by the medical profession, or those who are really familiar with the literature, is that if you're going to take HRT, it's probably better to take the lowest possible dose for the shortest possible time and find something else to help yourself with in the longer term. So the reason for that is that we are an aging population, which means that we are living for so much longer than we've lived before. And whereas 100 years or so ago, we weren't living much past 50, now 50 is just young and it's halfway, and we're still really wanting to be youthful and act youthful and feel young at that age. And many of us are blessed with 30, 40 or even more years, and we want to be able to live that in good health. So if you take HRT, it is geared to address certain symptoms like hot flushes and night sweats, for example, and possibly other symptoms like vaginal dryness, although I know that lots of patients don't find that it always helps to overcome those symptoms. But we also know from studies that we've done over the years that women who take HRT on average gain about 18 pounds in the first year, according to our studies, although it's not a stated side effect. If you're already suffering from extra weight around the middle, then you may not be welcoming additional weight. And also if you have migraine headaches, they won't usually prescribe it because it can make your migraine headaches worse. I did do a chapter in my new book. It's a review on the world literature on HRT, and I did it in conjunction with 2 HRT experts, and I've posted it in the group, in the documents, in the files. So if you're thinking about taking HRT, go and read it, because there are so many different sorts of HRT. You need to be fully informed. Some are better than others. Some help locally and they're not metabolized in the same way as some of the oral preparations. Some of the bioidentical hormones have been through research. Some haven't been through any research at all. And in America, the FDA have said that they should come off the market and be banned. So it's just different. Just because it all has one heading doesn't mean it's all the same. And HRT is not geared to help you in the long term with things like memory loss, and it doesn't protect you against heart disease in the long term. When you stop taking the HRT, although you've had less bone loss while you've been on it, you get just as much bone loss afterwards. So before the menopause, you make about 3% new bone each year, and you lose about 3%. So you stay in even balance. But when you pass menopause and your estrogen levels are low, then you don't have any chance of making new bone. So you lose more than you make, and that's why people get osteoporosis, the bone thinning disease. But the good news is that the program I use, which helps to control your symptoms, also the research shows it helps to make new bone. It helps to create new cells that help you to grow bone. It helps to protect you against heart disease and dementia, as well as helping to control the symptoms. So by learning to meet your needs, by helping to get yourself back into good nutritional shape, and by getting your hormones back into an optimum range with food and supplements that have been through clinical trials, you're going to achieve the same that you could achieve without having the side effects of HRT. However, it does take a bit of work. You've got to make some changes to your diet and your lifestyle. And you've got to really mean business. You've got to want to be back in the driving seat. And you've got to want to put in the legwork. But it is worth it. It does pay dividends. You can turn back your biological clock. You can watch some of the case histories. I'll post some more in the group in case you haven't seen them, of some of the women who've been through my program and come out the other end of it. I spoke to a patient on the phone today who she just started her program about 10 weeks ago. And she said that she was under a neurologist, I think more than one, when I first met her, and they thought there was something seriously wrong, which she was having scans. They didn't know what was wrong with her, and it turned out that she'd gone into an early menopause, and we fixed her symptoms. She just said she feels better than she can remember, and she's just enrolled on a course to train as a therapist because she wants to give back and help other women. So that's just in the space of less than 3 months. And I hear stories like that all the time. And I just want you to know that you do have options. You don't have to be pressed into taking hormones. I can remember I used to do a lot of work on Woman's Hour, lots of regular contribution. And I remember Jenny Murray loving her HRT when she took it, but she got breast cancer. And when I saw her more recently, I heard her say that if she'd known then what she knows now, she wouldn't have taken it. So, if you're one of those extra women who gets breast cancer on HRT, isn't going to be good. And there is an increased risk of ovarian cancer as well. It's a tricky situation because when you're feeling so awful and you're feeling so overwhelmed, you just want that magic solution. You want something that's going to help you to feel really well. But I promise you, if you speak to any of the women who are been through the boot camp, you speak to any of my past patients, they'll tell you that it is just worth putting in the effort because you feel so much different to how you felt before. And in fact, I did a radio interview today and I was asked the question about tips for overcoming menopause if you don't take HRT, or can you take HRT and do the natural approach together, or what should you do if you're on HRT and you're not having a great time, you're having side effects and you want to come off it? Should you come off suddenly or should you wean off? And so I answered all of those questions, and I should have that link by, I think it's the weekend, by Saturday. So I'll post that link on here. But in the meantime, tomorrow evening, I'm doing a live masterclass. So if you can, come and join me. If you haven't already enrolled, then do so. I'll find the link and I'll post it here so that you can come and find out what's going on in your body. I'll be talking in much more detail about how you deal with the symptoms naturally, what the science shows works, tips to overcome your symptoms quickly, and also a bit more about the different options that you have. If you want to manage by yourself, there are books, and if you want some help, then I've got my 6-week boot camp that I launched a couple of months ago, which is just producing amazing results. And I'm really, really proud that I can transfer what I've been doing on a one-to-one with patients to help women in groups. So whether you want to help yourself, whether you want a bit of extra help, the information is out there. You just need to do the research. And I know if you're not feeling great, if you're feeling tired, you've been up all night, you're confused, you can't function, it's so difficult to try and work out how to travel through this journey. But it's your journey, and it's up to you what you do and how you do it. So you don't have to feel pressed by me or anybody, by your doctor. You have to just do a bit of research and go with your gut feeling. If you want to take HRT in the short term, you can. If you want to do the natural approach first, the NICE committee, the National Committee on Clinical Excellence, does actually say in Appendix 8 of their menopause report that the natural approach is the best first-line approach. It's the most cost-effective approach, and it's the natural thing to do to get your diet sorted out. If you've had babies and you've done some breastfeeding, or you've been stressed, or you've been a dieter, all of those things will take its toll and your nutrients get into a really low range. We know that from the research that we've done over the years with our patients who suffer with PMS. Women very often have low levels of important nutrients, and that really causes their hormones to malfunction. The brain chemistry doesn't work normally, it doesn't send out the right messages, and everything goes sideways. And then coupled with that, when you go into perimenopause and menopause, estrogen levels are falling, and it becomes it's a call too far. Your body can't easily deal with it. So you have got options. It's a complicated situation and you need to try and get your head around it, or you need to choose someone to trust who is going to help you and coach you through it. So you have to make a few decisions, but whatever you do, don't do nothing. And don't just sit and listen to what everybody else is doing, because there are 1,000 different things that people are trying out there, and not all of them are clinically based or scientifically tried and tested. You can waste an awful lot of money and time, and you can get really disappointed by trying things that may work a bit or may work fleetingly for a few weeks, but they really aren't sustainable and they haven't been shown to be safe and effective. So this group is all about finding out what works, what is scientifically based, what the research shows has been shown to help women to overcome their symptoms. And then after the menopause, to look after yourself so that you prevent things like osteoporosis, heart disease, and dementia, because we don't want to become victims. We want to reclaim our well-being, and then we want to be absolutely turbocharged so that we can enjoy every single aspect of our lives. We can be productive in the workplace, we can be a great partner, enjoy our relationships, we can be a great mentor, role model for our kids if we've got children, and we can really enjoy this part of our lives when we've got more freedom, maybe a bit more disposable income, and you can get back to being how you were years ago and maybe better than that. So you don't have to feel that you've gone down a rabbit hole never to return. You don't have to feel desperate and think that life is never going to be good again. Even if you've lost your libido, if you've got low mood, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling anxious, you've got palpitations, you're awake in the night, you've got dry vagina, maybe it's even bleeding, you may not be talking to your partner, you may be thinking that the relationship's going to fall apart, you may not recognize yourself when you look in the mirror. All of those things can be addressed and sorted out so you can get back to feeling really good again. So please, please trust me and believe that that's possible. And whatever you choose as part of your journey, I do wish you the very best of luck. And if you want some help, please come to my masterclass. Just come and listen to how you can get started, how you can help yourself, and find out a bit about how you can get some help if you want some help as well. I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you and to point you in the right direction. So if you've got specific questions, I'll be doing a question and answer session live tomorrow. So you can come and ask me your questions and I'll answer them for you live as well. So I really look forward to you joining me, and I hope that you have a vaguely decent night tonight and that you have a bit more hope in your heart than you had before this film began, because I want you to know that there is a big light at the end of the tunnel and you can go on and have a wonderful life, a really fulfilling life, and you can feel really well and get your sexy self back again without having to be completely besieged by these awful symptoms. So I hope you have a good night and hopefully you'll join me tomorrow. Bye for now.